What happens when a skater that can box can't skate anymore because he boxed and decides to skate just to box, knowing if he boxes, he may never skate again?
You get somebody who really loves paperwork.
Find out next on Trees in Space. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Trees in Space, the show where we watch and review all movies of any genre, and we tell you what the fans thought, what the critics thought, and what we thought. Was it worth the forest or just a stump? I'm Jason. That is Nate. And if you missed the thumbnail, this week we watched the 2017 sports film Goon, Last of the Enforcers. Um,
Yes, we did.
we do it's part two to Goon, the excellent five-star, sorry, five tree movie that Nate ranked about 4 months ago, I guess now.
Uh, let's just say I'm surprised that you chose this movie. Um, I forgot that I've probably watched this movie twice, and I'll tell you what, it's not Goon.
Yeah, it's not Goon. I've apologized to Goon before for other movies, and I apologize to Goon again for this one.
Yeah. Um, you
Please tell us
know,
about it.
this movie is surprise Doug comes back. He still plays for the Highlanders. Him and his girl get pregnant, and they're having a little one on the way. He has an injury uh, caused by the owner of the team's son, who plays for a different team, the Werewolves or something like that, Timberwolves.
Him, well, something, well, yeah.
Yeah.
But wait, there's more.
Um, and then Doug goes and sells insurance. And then the guy that causes the injury joins the team. Disruption happens. Doug comes back. And then
He comes back just because he wants to fight the guy again. Because
oh,
this movie was so it was they leaned so much into the boxing fighting part of the original Goon
mm-hmm.
to the point where it was comical.
Yeah, it was more of was it UFC on ice?
Yes, I mean, the kids are punching, just hitting the one guy, the other guy comes up, hits the other guy, and it comes. And I've watched hockey, I've watched it on TV, and I've watched stuff besides NHL, and I've watched old NHL stuff. And I know it's a movie, and I said it's about Goon, but that's not what they do when they fight. They do not do that. They not to that extent, especially in part two.
Yeah, part
And
two go leans way too heavy into it.
they really do. And
Um, what did you think of Sean William Scott's acting between one and two?
I think he did the amazing thing that most actors cannot do. I'm gonna give him because I didn't give him much credit last time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he played the same character. I think he did a really good job of being the same character. I think the writer did a few things where you could tell he's in character, like he didn't understand, like sarcasm or certain things or how to act with people. But he played it well. He played the same character, and that was pretty impressive because he was the identical guy. The
Yeah,
wife wasn't, the best friend wasn't, the coach, all the other people around him that from the first movie do not seem like they played the same character.
not really. Um, a lot of them seem, at least on the, I find that on the hockey side, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of them are softer.
Yes.
Now, I don't know if that is they're taking in the factor that it's a 7 or 6 year gap between the two movies,
Yeah.
and maybe that he's been playing that whole time, and just him being, you know, on the team has made them more compassionate, maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe that's me pulling my jump to conclusions mat out and jumping to one. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think my favorite part of this movie is when the boss shows up.
You're talking about when he sells insurance?
No. I'm talking
Oh.
about Ray.
Oh,
I
okay.
do I do like the insurance guy
Oh,
though.
he's my favorite character in the whole film. But he in his every interaction with it he has is hilarious. I loved his that whole small skit every time he showed up, and I kind of like the two Russian people that were gigging on the guy's mama. You know,
What
I
do you
kind
think about the mayonnaise?
Best revenge is living well. Not stooping to your fucking level.
The mayonnaise is semen.
What?
that I so I like those two gave it redeeming qualities enough to watch. The
They were
why
less obnoxious this time.
yes yeah the movie like Nate said, so he's on the same team. He gets in a fight and he hurts his shoulder, so he can't play. So he goes to sell insurance, but someone says, "Hey, let's get him back on the team because he can still do some things." So
Well, that's because he discovers with his buddy from wherever here in Massachusetts is
oh
living
yes,
there. Uh, he tells him, shows him this brawl on ice thing.
yes. Oh my God, that was so. These people are fighting. They take the whole hockey out of hockey and just fight.
Yeah,
And what's his name was
it's
there?
like the
guy
best
from
part
first
of the hockey is the fighting. But even like with that, at least I want to see some gameplay. Not just two dudes charging at each other like they're freaking horseback.
exactly. And that what's that actor's name? That wasn't both of them that became his friend at the end of the first one that you beat up at the first one.
Liev Schreiber.
Yeah, he did great. Also, he wasn't moving nearly long enough, but he was on the ice fighting those people, and then that's how Sean became part of that group, and he's fighting other people, and then they work together to learn to fight. I'm telling you, it's a boxing fucking movie. This was a boxing movie.
Pretty much, because he
On
had to learn
skates.
how to fight southpaw.
Right. So and then they moved, and he gets back on the team, but the guy who knocked him out, like you said, he's already on this team because his father owns the team. I don't understand any of that. I don't understand the character. What's his name? Kane, the bad guy, the guy
The
that
dad or the son?
the son. Why was he mad? Why was he so angry? Why did he want to fight? Well, he was a one-dimensional, I just want to fight character. He had no depth at all.
Got it?
The fuck you just said?
And you KHL garbage, bullshit, Ukrainian fuck, hockey league, Chernobyl disaster fucks! You turn that fucking puck over one more time, and I'll fucking kill both of you! And you! Fuck, I don't even know. Fuck you! Fuck you!
I think his whole character arc is, I just want to please my dad. And then at the very end, when he's bloodied, he tells his dad that he hates hockey. And
Yes. He's
so
laughing, he's missing his teeth.
maybe he's just angry because he actually just hates hockey and he's just been doing it because his dad wants him to. Like,
That's fair.
I mean, that's the only character arc I can see for that guy.
There was too many. It was very blotchy to me.
It was a shaky storyline
Yes.
for a movie, again, with that much time in between movies. It should have been way better written.
Yeah. It should have been a bit more streamlined. I think they had some pacing issues. I don't understand they're just they put too much stuff in it, I think. As you say, could have been 30 minutes less. Maybe not 30 minutes for this one, but
I think this movie could have been an hour and 45 minutes less.
it's like who's writing this? I mean, I don't think the person who writes this understands hockey at all.
Yeah, and also mind you that this movie takes place, or this league takes place during a hockey lockout for the NHL. So this is a major publicity scene, and this is why the owner is trying to get the team or buy the team essentially.
The characters in the first movie were fleshed out characters. The girlfriend was a great character. The coach, they were fleshed out. So I guess they didn't think they needed to do that with the newer characters coming into this one, but it all kind of fell flat. I mean, there were some pretty funny moments. I mean, I did not like the newscasting. I didn't like that. I thought
Oh,
that was
Sports Desk.
yeah.
Um, I didn't mind it. I thought it was a good way to break up a relatively poor movie.
Did you get confused by the time lapses, like where they are? Because like they had 60 games played, and they're out of like by 13 games, and there's 80 games played, and they're only down by two. Or I'm just like,
Yeah, I didn't pay that much attention to it.
well, time went by because she got from being a little bit pregnant to giving birth,
Yeah, I didn't even notice.
and oh god, she's so cute pregnant. Oh my god, I'm about died. Oh my god, what I like pregnant women. So
Nobody cares.
Wasn't there something? There was. What did you? When I saw the the scene in the minivan and the best friend's driving the van, and he's like, "You're so hot right now," talking to the wife.
yes, when she's about to give birth, yeah,
Yeah, there's nothing more sexy than when woman's giving
yeah,
birth and all this and that.
yeah.
I was like, "Oh, that's my LP."
Yes, and she goes, "Can we have some quiet, or whatever?" He's like, "You're gonna be so glowing," and he was not nearly as annoying in this movie as he was the first one.
I think he was better in this one.
He was better in this one.
They utilized him a lot better.
They did.
They talked about they mentioned how his hot ice show failed.
Yes, yes, they did. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. They pulled that up. I did like I guess her sister,
Yep.
because she was a big actress a few many
She
years
was
ago.
in The Ranch. She was
Yes, she was.
also the girl next door.
The girl next door. That's where I remember her from, and she was a daughter in 24. I think it was trying to be too much like Rocky 2. I'm not sure if you saw Rocky 2. When his wife gives birth and she goes into a coma, and she's like, she didn't want him to fight. She didn't want him to fight. She said, "Don't do it," and then but he did it anyhow because he had to, just what he had to do. And then she goes in the coma. She gets out the coma after giving birth, and she's like, "Did you do something for me?" And he said, "What's that?" And she goes, "Win, win." And then of course the music goes doom, and everybody's like, "Yeah," because that's all he needed. And that's what they did in this movie. They threw that little side story into there. I guess they needed to stretch it out to be 140 minutes long.
Yeah, it was too long. I mean, it wasn't a horrible movie. There's worse movies. I can think of maybe like 3. But, I think it was fine.
Are we too critical on movies? We might be too critical on movies.
I don't know. I can't wait to see what the audience has to say.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, why don't we do that? Why don't we get into the audience reviews? So the very first 5-star, and yes, there are 5 stars. This movie got 5 stars. A few of them, matter of fact, from Scott F. Guaranteed, there is not one critic who slapped on a pair of skates and played hockey. They couldn't possibly understand how great a sport it is. Fair. Whatever the worst hockey movie made, whatever the worst hockey movie made is, it's great. So this guy saying no matter what movie it is, if it's hockey, it's great. Why? Because hockey. Also, Islanders, Highlanders, I caught that. Same color jerseys, Canes. Different spelling. Is that Canes? Carnes. Comes from the New York Rangers. Yes, they did that very well when it came to that there. So that's 5 stars from Scott F.
I got nothing, Scott S. Ron T here has some good words from the 1 star or less. This movie was unwatchable. The original Goon was unrealistic, but entertaining. This one is just bad. I should have known after the 10th F-bomb in the first minute that the writers were clueless. They have done something interesting with Doug working in insurance, but that never went anywhere. I stopped watching about midway.
That's a bad movie. Stop watching midway. But if you stop watching midway, you shouldn't review the movie
I concur.
because it could turn out great.
It didn't.
It did not. Okay, the last 5-star review is from Unknown. There are not many movies that I immediately wanted to watch again. This is one of them.
You know, I think we mentioned this before with an M. Night Shyamalan movie. This movie is the perfect background movie. The last 1 star or less comes from Unknown. Possible the most unfunny comedy ever. An insult to hockey players and Canadians. Made with my tax dollars to boot. What an awful movie. No stars.
Was this movie made in Canada? And if it's so, how are the tax dollars paying
You
for
get
it?
tax credits for filming in certain spots and stuff.
Oh, well, I don't think it was an insult to hockey players. I think it's an insult to boxers and skaters. Because when they were playing hockey, they did hockey just fine. They
Yeah,
did hockey.
Laflemme played great hockey.
Yeah, sure did.
So did the guy with the mustache and the hand lotion.
The WTF comment is from Unknown. It is a 4-star comment. Pretty damn funny for a sequel to Goonies.
What did he say?
Oh my god, I wish this was the sequel to Goonies. What do you think is Chuck?
Well, now you know what the critics thought, what the audience thought. So let's go with the Rotten Tomatoes percentage and the audience percentage. Rotten Tomatoes gave this a whopping 42, and the audience were right behind them with a whopping 41.
That is the closest in fan and critic review that we have ever seen on this show. And you know what? I hate to say this, but I think that they're still a little generous
Yeah, I think so too.
on this.
And, I think that might be the closest. Did we get one that was identical though?
I don't think so.
I'm not going back over a year of watching video to find it. So
Nope.
okay, everyone. Now I'm going to tell you what I thought about this movie. I already, crapped on it a little bit. Thought some parts were funny. Sean Scott, whatever his name is, the actor, he did his part. He's the same person. The relationship with the kid, the hockey, the fight. It's just, you heard it all. It was a crap movie. It had some redeeming qualities, but very little. No boobs, so you don't get a half a stump for that. But you do get a pregnant woman, so you might get a whole treat for that. So I am going to rate this. I can't do it. I can't rate it higher than Goon. That's not fair to Goon, and I gave Goon a stump. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm giving. Yeah, so this gets a stump. If I give you lower than a stump, I'd give it lower than a stump, but I can't. So,
hey, that's fair.
and I would not recommend it to my doctor or my surgeon or my freaking gynecologist.
I would not recommend this movie to anybody anywhere. I thought this movie was better than it was. It's definitely a shallow. It's a pales in comparison to the first one. If you're trying to figure out if you have to watch this one to complete the 2-movie set, you don't. This is Smokey and the Bandit 3. Never should have happened. I originally thought of this as a 3-tree movie. The more I kind of let it settle down, honestly, just because of the acting, I'm going to give this 1 tree.
Well, everyone, you heard it from me and Nate. He gave it 1 tree. I gave it a stump. I probably would have given it a higher score if I would have gave Goon a higher score. But anyways, we want to thank you for watching us. Please leave a comment, a like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell someone, share it so you know feed the algorithm monster because we need to feed it so it can feed us. We will see you next Monday on Trees in Space.